Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Wow, my voice is froggy. It's morning here, and I wanted to make a different style of video. So here we are. Today's video, we're going to talk about, if you've ever wondered, church bells. I am just jumping on here as editing Jen to pre-apologize about all the variances you're gonna hear in the way that the sound comes through because I was using different microphones. I was holding them at different distances from my mouth. And also I'm pre-apologizing for the very end of the video when there's a vast color difference. I just don't want to re-record everything. So instead of all that, I'm apologizing to you now for the janky quality of this video. I'm going to keep it as is because the information is still good, but just wanted to add this in here. There are some very clear and distinct differences between the way our generation, so older millennials and Gen Xers, approach video making and showing up on camera compared to our Gen Z or Gen Alpha counterparts. I know I've mentioned this in some of my videos before. And so today, I'm going to talk to you about why that is. And it's not any fault of our own. It's just the different ways in which we grew up. And some of our cultural and sociological conditioning has put up barriers for us to be able to approach video creation and showing up on camera in just a different way than those who grew up knowing this technology.
Okie Be sure to talk to the camera and not the speakerphone. Talking to the camera. Exactly.
Have you ever seen like a 2 or a 4-year-old operate an iPad? It's mind-boggling. Some of these children who don't even have full command of the language yet just understand inherently, in a way, technology. And yes, iPads, iPhones, our technology now is made to be user-friendly, but can you imagine you at that age, 2 or 4, having parents who've never seen this type of technology before, trying to operate this type of equipment? It is mind-blowing, and it is actually what separates our generations from the younger generations coming up now. The way that I like to approach teaching our people, Gen X and elder millennials, how to learn how to use social media to grow their personal brands is to treat the language of social media like a foreign language. You could even take what Gen X and millennials are called generationally versus what Gen Z and Gen Alpha are called generationally in the world of digital technology. And you can kind of see a clear difference and why this approach, meaning the approach of teaching as if it is a second language, really works well. You may or may not know this, but Gen Z and Gen Alpha are referred to as digital natives. Gen X and elder millennials are referred to as digital immigrants.
They're in the computer? Must be an on button somewhere. Press the Apple thing.
Why? Because the way that we grew up, you and I, with VHS, cassettes, even records or CDs and DVDs, it is a very different type of technology that we got introduced to as we were coming of age versus Gen Z and Gen Alpha growing up in the digital age as digital natives.
What superpower, if you could pick any superpower in the whole world, which one would you pick and why?
Whoa, that's a good question, Jen. I think I would pick underwater like Aquaman because he's also my favorite superhero and he can talk to sea animals. And I really like sea animals like eels, fish, and sea turtles.
So You learn your native tongue from your parents, from being immersed in it, from slowly coming to an understanding of what words mean. And what happens when you go to learn a second language is you're learning the definitions. Usually this is how it's being taught, right? You're learning the definitions of words and the meanings of things by referring to what it means in your native tongue. So the way that I want to teach you is, yes, through immersion, meaning having you just do it and learn by making mistakes, doing things wrong, making it simple. But I also want to teach you how to do this video thing in a way where your brain is going to start to comprehend it as a second language. All right, it's time to get ready for the day. So I'm going to be getting ready in this video as we are talking about these generational differences. Let's go do my makeup. If you think this looks silly, it is, but it really works well. If you're somebody who needs to clip your bangs out of your way while you're doing your makeup, this is just toilet paper and some clips. This is so I don't dent my bangs. If you don't know, I used to be, for 12 years, a professional makeup artist who worked in commercial and print ad media. And so that's where all of my, well, a lot of my experience in traditional media came from. And this is just a trick right here. So of course, there are also generational differences between millennials and Gen Xers. If you want to get even more technical about what the different generations are called, Gen X is the generation that is referred to as digital immigrants or tech adopters. And the millennials are referred to as the bridge generation or the early adopters. And what we're talking about here is when technology shifted from analog to digital. So millennials were teenagers when the internet and social media became widely available, and Gen X was already into their adult years. Millennials had to adapt, but because the internet and social media came around when we were teenagers, we became more tech savvy, and Gen X is known for having a more cautious and pragmatic approach to technology.
I look a professional. Hello?
I wanted to be on the real world.
Now, these are general and blanket statements. You might find yourself, whether you're a millennial or a Gen X, fitting into either of the two categories. That's why this channel is for elder millennials and Gen Xers, because we have many of the same hangups when it comes to showing up on camera and using social media to build our digital personal brands.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Be good just to hold them down by your
Okay.
side. Yeah, great.
We're real happy with what was going on.
Are you familiar with something called the Millennial Pause? If you aren't, what the Millennial Pause is that breath that many millennials and Gen Xers take while they're recording themselves before they start talking or giving you the information on recorded video. And what this actually comes from, this is considered a hang up by some people. And when I say some people and I hear myself say it, I'm thinking that it's a hang up that Gen Zs or younger millennials have when they're watching video. The reason why we even take that breath is because we started recording ourselves and taking selfies and streaming on video when technology was really, really new and not as responsive as it is today. Today, we can turn on our camera, it is instantly recording. Back then, we had to wait for that red light to come on to make sure we're not cutting off the first sound of the first sentence or the first words that we're saying. And so we are often more just cautious when it comes to video recording. So that pause is something that was like a learned behavior for Gen Xers and for millennials. It's called the Millennial Pause because millennials are the generation that really got into filming ourselves or taking selfies. So turning the camera to us, we just get a little bit cautious when we want to make sure that the camera is actually recording us and it's not missing something that we're saying. So if this is something that bothers you or you don't even notice it, then don't worry about it, right? But if this is something that you want to fix, all you have to do is trim the video in the very first part when you start recording and just chop off that breath, that millennial pause that happens when you begin your video recording. There's also been a recent shift for video to become way more casual. And yes, that boom really took off with the advent of TikTok being a very, very casual video app.
Hey Jen, how unfiltered can we get? But let's be honest, I don't really care. Like, what do you look like when you go to bed?
But I would also say that we started seeing the shift to casual video with the makeup influencers of the 2010s showing up on camera, undone, allowing you to get a behind the scenes sneak peek of what they look like before they're completely camera ready. And that's what I'm doing here in this video. I'm allowing you to come with me on the journey of me getting camera ready, because what this has created, the more casual form of video recording, is a closer connection. I'm intentionally breaking down the fourth wall, allowing you to get to know me on a different level visually, rather than showing up on camera perfect or camera ready all of the time. And this is something that we really didn't start seeing until like MTV started showing us the behind the scenes of people's real lives. I mean, it was still produced, but it was people's real lives. Then we started seeing in the 2010s, makeup influencers coming on, no makeup, no hair done. And then you can jump on TikTok right now and really see it. People are doing everything from crying on video, just doing an entire video, not having washed their face in the morning or changed out of their pajamas. And this is what I think is happening. We are creating closer connections to each other because we're starting to take down that hang up that we have on appearing perfect. You could even see between different apps that you use. Instagram is known for being like Insta perfect, where it's very aesthetic, the app. You open it up, and even though this has started getting broken down in recent years, Instagram was known for having these really beautiful, aesthetically laid out, very intentional looking feeds. And TikTok, that was kind of annoying. Case in point though, my SD card on my DJI camera just got full. And so I'm transferring the files right now on my computer, and it's gonna take 2 hours. So instead of waiting on that, I am going to film now for the rest of the video on my iPhone 14 Pro. So back in the day, that wasn't available to us. Back in the day, we had to, if you were ever shooting on a camcorder, you know what it's like to change out the tape when the tape ran out of room, right? And we were also much more careful when we were filming on actual film than now in the digital age, where we could easily erase a file if we didn't like it, or if the SD card, whatever card you're using, gets filled up, we can easily empty that card and have more storage space. And as I was saying before, with the popularity of TikTok, we've just gotten way more casual with the way that we record. And so if you're somebody who's believing that there's like a specific presentation that you need to have to show up on video, not anymore. Let that guard down. If it's easier for you to do it on shorts first, do it on shorts, but you can show up on camera looking any which way now. And you can see that on many different channels across platforms. I personally enjoy that because it's easier to get a video out, right? If I scratch my ear, I'm not going to get in trouble for just appearing human on video. As a matter of fact, it creates a tighter connection between you and I, between you and your audience. Another generational difference we're seeing is that it seems like it's much easier for the younger generations to just show up with their personalities on camera. And the reason why is because that's what they've been exposed to, right? They all came after the MTV generation, which what our exposure to media was like was you either had the mess and the messiness of everybody's personality that was on the MTV Real World, or you had like newscasters and professional TV hosts who were showing up so perfectly that we believed that this is the way that we are supposed to be showing up on video. And that's just not true anymore. And I think that is actually what has made it easier to start my YouTube channel this time, is observing and studying. I'll be right back after I fix my bangs. Editing Jen here once again. You're about to see that terrible color gradation pop up, so brace yourself. The last hang up that I'm going to talk about that we millennials and Gen Xers have with showing up on video is that we're trying to figure out what to make our content about. And the easiest thing to do here on YouTube is to find a topic that is answering someone's question. And our tendency is to become really instructional about it, right? Like, and I'm not saying that these aren't helpful. So if you're somebody who makes tutorials on here about very technical things, amazing, because I watch your videos to figure out everything from how to fix a squeaky toilet to how to edit better onto script. But what you want to do, right, and this is the hang up, what you want to do instead of just being purely instructional, purely all about the education, is you want to add some of your personality into the videos. Now, this comes native, right, to Gen Zers. They're showing up and they're easily expressing and sharing their emotions on camera.
Let me tell you what's going on in this vlog. So basically, I'm going to be vlogging, and that's all that's happening today.
And we are showing up and we're wanting to be really professional, really proper about the way that we're presenting information. Now, what people enjoy watching and what creates this connection between me and you is that I am actively, and I have to do this actively because it's still not native to me either, right? I am still a digital immigrant. I'm still an early adopter, whatever you want to call me, part of the bridge generation, okay? So me adding my personality here on camera, it does take a little bit of effort. You will get used to it, but alongside the information that you're either teaching someone or giving someone, you want to add in parts of you that make you you. Why? Because what happens on YouTube specifically is that the way people watch videos is different depending on what they're looking for. If they are an avid YouTube watcher and they're looking for a new creator or a new series to get hooked on, what they're going to get hooked on is your personality, right? They're not going to get hooked on the way that you perfectly describe how to fix your squeaking toilet. So if you are somebody who is, say, a plumber and you're wanting to do plumbing content on your channel, let me get to know you and your personality while you're teaching me how to fix the squeaky toilet, because that's going to have me want to subscribe to your channel, right? We are in the age of creating personal brands through our digital content, through our video, through everything that we produce content creation wise online. Even though this isn't something that is native to us, it's easy for us to learn. If you observe people, especially on TikTok, it's a great platform to learn on. It's starting to come through here on YouTube as well. Look for the type of content that is not overly edited, right? Look for the content where the person really feels like a real person to you, and notice the difference that you're experiencing when you're watching that type of creator versus a creator that's coming off like a very professional type of personality. There's nothing wrong with either, and you are welcome to present yourself as either or. It's not going to hurt you any, but to create that connection with you and your audience, you've got to figure out how to bring more of you to your videos. So here's your homework. If you got to this point in the video and you are somebody who's creating your personal brand here on YouTube or any other social platform, what I want you to do is create a video today or tomorrow, whenever you have time, that shows me parts and pieces of your personality. And what I mean by that is, don't be afraid to not overly edit your video. Don't be afraid to just show up and let the mistakes be there. Let the video be ugly, right? Let the video be bad, especially if you're in the beginning of this journey. What it's going to allow me to do as somebody who's watching your videos is follow along on your journey as you improve slowly over time. And this is the type of journey we want to go on with creators here on this platform or any platform, right? It humanizes us. It creates this connection between you and I. Knowing that I am a new YouTuber, I think is helping us to just connect, because you're watching my journey going from, okay, I don't know how to use this platform, from that one video that I did in like March of 2022 to, getting monetized here on this platform. So the homework is create a video, let yourself show up with your personality, knowing that you're not a digital native, letting that be okay, and then allowing us to come with you on the journey as you build your personal brand. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next one.